Sakamoto Days, Episode 9. All aboard, and somebody's finna go take a ride. So let's talk about it. All right, welcome back, Geek Variant. So we're talking about Sakamoto. This is where things are getting good as far as we got all the kind of preliminary backstory out of the way. Now it's just we finna throw hands, a lot more. So last we saw, Sakamoto was left with Kishima down there in the tunnels, and they're getting ready to scrap off. And in the process of that, we see that he's already made of several different materials, and he's got a lot of weaponry. But we find out that he's got about 70% of his body is made of heavy weaponry. So he's ready to do some damage, and he's not ready to slow down for anything. So he ends up immediately ejecting like a cannon out of his mouth to fire at Sakamoto, and he takes a pin and he shoves it inside the muzzle and pretty much explodes that right in his mouth. Yes, exactly how it sounds. So it was pretty funny in itself. And again, he's very resourceful with everything that he has. And while this is going on, we see Lu and crew trying to escape the cell. We still got old boy Tanaka who's crying and stuff, and Asakura is just trying to help along. Shin and Heisuke, they are still dealing with Seba, who is using his cloaking and camo suit to kind of get around everything. He's dodging shots, and Heisuke is hitting some crazy ricochet shots, like he is getting it in. But in the process of that, even though Seba's kind of taking some damage, he ends up like throwing his cloaked coat onto a steel pipe and uses that to disable Heisuke for a hot second to get in close and start trying to do some damage. So now we know that his suit can cloak anything that it touches. So I'm assuming it's got to have a certain surface area. It's got to be able to be covered. So he's able to cover the pipe and throw it. So you're not able to see it coming. Now, with that being said, even though we still got Hesuke trying to ricochet shots and stuff, we end up getting Seba to get in close, get a fake out, stuff like that. Basically, he gets a shot off where it looks like Seba lost his arm, but he was actually just cloaking that arm, takes it back out, and basically managed to get a good shot in on Heisuke and put him down. And now he's like, all right, I got to finish you off because you're just kind of getting annoying. We already know Seba's attitude. He don't like to work longer than he's supposed to. He's just trying to get his job done and going about his business. So with that being said, you still got Shin trying to figure out what to do, and he's trying to. Heisuke's got some crazy thoughts, so it's hard to decipher. It looks like hieroglyphics to a degree. It's like drawings or whatever. So Shin's trying to figure out like whatever he's thinking and stuff like that to be able to help him out and figure out what kind of situation he's in. While this is going on, Saka and Kashima are still scrapping, and basically found out that the whole base is rigged to blow in about 20 minutes. Like Sakamoto straight up like, I only need 5. I'm finna work you over. And he ends up pulling out some stuff. So basically he's like, hey, I got all this weaponry. Sakamoto's got a sticker for 50% off, a flyer, and a mechanical pencil. Those are his weapons, and he is completely fine with that. So I'm like, all right, he's on some John Wick stuff. He's about to go to work or whatever. So as Kishima's getting ready to start dropping off, rounds, blasts, and slicing that stuff, we see that Sakamoto quickly clicks out some pencil lead, flicks it into his eye, and disables his left eye, which messes him up. And then immediately gets a sticker put on the right eye, and then Sakamoto is able to just kind of drag him for a minute. Like he is not wasting no time. Like he is messing this dude up. Eventually, uh, they find out that as they get punched through a wall, subway. That's why we got the train. The subway is connected to the lab, and Kishimi had no idea. I'm like, you don't hear subway kind of coming by every so often or something down there. But anyway, they end up kind of getting pushed out to the train. And as the train is coming, they both kind of jump flip over it. But Kishimi throws out some cables, and he's able to wrap up Sakamoto and kind of drag him along. He's standing on the back of the train, and he's dragging Sakamoto. And the way it looks is like he's kind of being drugged, but he's actually managed to get some kind of wood plank or whatever, and he's riding that thing like a surfboard all the way down. He actually uses the flyer to cut himself out of the cables. So whatever this flyer was, whatever it's made out of, it's some really top-notch stuff. So he cuts himself out of that and basically goes back at it, and they basically fight through the train. We see Kishimi, who ends up, kind of trying to do everything he can, but he's getting worked over. He eventually ends up praising Sakamoto for how good he is with stuff because he thought he got rid of him, but like when he kind of kicked him out of the train. But when he did that, Sakamoto got rid of all his fat, and now he's sitting like literally in his peripherals on the train, back in his thin form. And you see Kishima just kind of slowly turn, and yeah, Sakamoto starts going back to work, like not wasting any time, and he's just jacking this dude up left and right. Slur, we get his Slur is the part of the flashback that we get. So we find out that why he's so adamant about following Slur. As Slur was mentioned, we don't really know much about Slur, or I don't anyway. So basically, Kishima was trying to do right. He's trying to, bring justice for people, that need justice. But, people look at him kind of crazy because he apparently went over the top. Like, I guess he beat up a bunch of guys who were like kind of messing with a cat or something like that. But all the other civilians that were kind of present, they're like, yeah, you do too much. Something's wrong with him, whatever. And nobody's really accepted him. But Slur started walking up. And the Slur started walking up, everybody started dropping. Like, you just see them freaking like, bam, injury, injury, injury. They're just dropping, like, done. And he comes up and he accepts him and says, I'm here for you. And I'm here to, take care of you. I accept you as you are. And that was like big for him. He's like, I also want justice for people. And there's not a lot of people who are willing to do the more or less do the dirty work, that needs to be done to achieve this. So that's why Slur accepted him. And that's why he's so devoted to Slur. It's like, cool, makes sense now. So that being said, we see Sakamoto like, yep, still gotta take you out. So he ends up, not only smacking him out the way, so some uh disabled, an elderly can come and have a seat on the train. Like literally just smacks him out the way, like, hey, move, you're in the way of their seating. Okay. Then he continues to take freaking like one of the handrails off the thing, blocks several like machine gun shots and stuff like that, and proceeds to go to work on him with, this whole steel rod and stuff, and just beats the crap out of him. Eventually he can't take it no more, and he's like, yo, chest cannon. I'm like, oh, he finna unibeam. Like he finna go in and unibeam this dude. And nope, freaking he ends up getting defeated, like kicked straight through the train, out the door, all the way to the little gate where you kind of check in at, and just falls on the gate. Done. He's out. Sakamoto goes up, swipes his card, drops his body through the gate, and starts dragging him to wherever he needs to go to. So, bam, he got his man. We got to see what's going on with Shin and Heisuke. So they're still scrapping, and basically he's able to figure out kind of what he's thinking. So we see Heisuke take a shot. He's about to take a shot straight at Seba, and he ends up turning and shoots somewhere else, and it just ricochets. And Seba's like, "You couldn't even get your last shot. Well, I got to finish this." He hit the sprinklers. Sprinklers go off. Water. Suit is deactivated because I guess it emits some kind of electricity and stuff when it does power, so it's not waterproof or anything, which makes it very easy for Shin to see him. And Shin comes up with more or less some kind of head scissor hurricane or whatever, and just kind of drops Seba and takes him out of the fight. He's done. He retires. Safe. So now the goal is we have to find Lu. So basically, we see Lu, Tanaka, and Asakura still trying to get out, make their way out, and trying to figure out what's going on. Shin ends up showing up and saving Lu from some rubble getting dropped on her. It was like, yo, we got to rescue the people who are left. Asakura draws him like a quick little map. It's like, here's roughly where it is. And basically, Shin uses that, whatever knowledge he has, to figure out that, hey, there's people here, there's people here, there's people here. Everybody got to go and get the people out. So as they're doing that, and he's walking, he's taking Asakura with him, and eventually says Asakura, like, hey, go this way, there's people this way. And he ends up running into Slur. And he feels like a bloodlust, as he called it, so that. Like it looked like he got like hit like 3-4 times, really quick succession. But that was just his bloodlust apparently that just triggered. And Slur walked by him and just like, give my regards to Sakamoto or whatever, and just keeps walking. And Shin's just like, yo, what was that? That was wild. But he ends up, getting the rest of the people out of there. And basically all their research and stuff is destroyed, but the researchers aren't really worried about it because all their knowledge is up there. And we actually get Lu, who apologized to Shin. Shin apologized to Lu. So it was great that they're back on the same accord, and we actually see that all the stuff that he was dealing with as far as the researchers and reading their minds and how they were kind of saying a bunch of mean things about him, well, now they're saying a bunch of nice things about him, and they know that he can read minds, and they're saying like freaking, he's just got so tall, so brave. Somebody's like he's got short guy syndrome, but they're still saying nice things, like they appreciate him saving, him saving the day, and kind of getting him out of there. So it's a lot of good stuff, a lot of positive. So it's kind of like a good redemption for him, and he should feel better. And you know, everybody kind of tells Sakamoto, hey, make sure you take care of him because he's family. He's still part of that, and he's got a new family. It's still something that resonates and needs to happen for Shin to kind of be able to move past that stuff. So that's great. Everyone is pretty much solid. They end up going to dinner. Freaking Hana finally gets to tell everybody how her day went and how she got the right, the answer on the board for whatever they were doing at school. So everyone's excited to see that. We see Shin and Lu get back to their bickering over some shrimp and stuff. Um, but like it's kind of all on a positive, and this is good because it kind of puts us on a little bit of a good note. And we'll see, we got, I think, one more episode left before they go on hiatus for a little while, and we'll get the second core sometime during probably like the late summer, I think, or something like that, and we'll be able to pick up on there. So 10 episodes here, and then maybe another 8 or 10 episodes there when they do that next part. So we'll see what happens next week and how they're going to leave us on a cliffhanger for the next part of the first season, and see where it goes. That's all I got for this one. So I appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that lovely red subscribe button. The show's been kind of fun, kind of wacky. But that it's anime. It's good. I'm enjoying it. So again, let's just kind of see what happens, and keep in mind we also have the Invincible season premiere on its way, and definitely got some stuff to talk about as far as the Invincible War and what else we might see. So we'll get into that a little bit later as well. So that's all I got. Catch you guys in the next one. Later.